What is up, everybody? I'm your host of Browning and Stave, and the question today is, are we watching the collapse of the U.S.? New reports paint a shaky future for the petrodollar and therefore the U.S. as a whole. Did you think you'd live to see the day that the U.S. is no longer a superpower? Well, the day may unfortunately be coming sooner rather than later. This is your place for quick breakdowns, so leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. I don't have to tell you that things in the U.S. have been pretty rough lately. The botched Afghanistan withdrawal, wide open southern border, insane national debt, inflation, struggling stock market, lagging wages, mass layoffs, shortages on everything, and rising prices driven not just by inflation but gas prices which have doubled, and the fact that the US is down to about an 11-day supply of diesel. Top all that off with global conflict potentially going nuclear. I'll stop there, but the list goes on. But trouble for the US may just be getting started. And to understand how bad it is and may get, there are a couple things that you have to understand. Number one, the petrodollar is the key to the United States maintaining its power. As long as people use the dollar to purchase oil, we can trudge through mostly anything. The second countries begin using a different currency for energy exchanges, it's over. We will no longer have the luxury of the world propping up our currency, and without that, it will collapse. If our currency collapses, so does everything else. Our influence drops to next to nothing, and our military won't have the funds it needs to carry out operations abroad, so we will be crippled there as well. The second thing you need to know about is BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You can kind of think of this as anti-NATO. So what does BRICS have to do with the petrodollar, and how does any of this lead to a collapse? Well, this is where it gets scary, so buckle up. Putin and Xi Jinping have been working to build BRICS for some time, and thanks to pure and utter incompetence from NATO, the US in particular, they've done a good job, and here's why. You see, BRIC nations produce a lot of oil. They also have massive supplies of rare earth minerals, which are almost, if not just as important to modern life as oil. The US and NATO nations, in an effort to save the planet, have largely stopped producing their own energy and started buying it from OPEC. Not sure how that saves the planet, actually seems worse, but anyway. Now, because NATO nations all buy energy from OPEC, it gives leading BRIC nations who are in OPEC a very good opportunity to knock off the petrodollar, and they're gaining momentum as 12 nations apply to join BRICS, likely in an effort to be on the side with all the energy in the upcoming conflict. This should be highly concerning to everyone living in the US. Take a moment to think about this from the standpoint of Russia, China, or really any OPEC nation. They're the ones producing all of the world's energy. They have the world in the palm of their hands. Why in the world would they stay under the thumb of the US? Why wouldn't they create a new petrocurrency and say, don't like it? Freeze to death. Do you really think France or whoever is in charge of the UK this week is going to let their people freeze to defend our honor? Doubt it. There are already protests across Europe to leave NATO, and they aren't even at war yet. And if you think Saudi Arabia will be our saving grace, don't hold your breath. Don't forget, they recently sided with their BRIC and OPEC friends when asked to increase production. And they didn't just say no, they ratted Joe Biden out about the quid pro quo that occurred, prompting Joe Biden to even say, it appears Saudi Arabia is siding with Russia in this conflict. If they do form a new currency or name the ruble or yen the new currency with which the world purchases energy, that will devastate and could possibly be the end of the US as we know it. And what's scary is that they know that. This is the logical next step for them, and there are rumors that they're already doing it. And what are we going to do about it? Use monopoly money to go force them to start using our dollar again? Fat chance. We in the United States have no idea how bad life can be, but we may be on the way to finding out. Let me know in the comments what you think of the BRIC nations potentially displacing NATO on the world stage and what you think will come from this mess. Will the petrodollar be replaced? Will the US collapse? Is it already collapsing? Let me know what you think, but that's all for this one from Browning and Stave, your place for quick breakdowns. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.